So today I am so happy to have one of Avicii's longtime collaborators, someone that's known him for quite a while and worked on many songs with him. Um, Coming all the way from Sweden, this is songwriter, producer, musician Carl Falk. Hi,
Hi,
Carl.
how are you?
Hi, thanks. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Great. Thank you so much for participating and joining me in this. There are many people that worked with Tim, but not many people worked with him as long as you worked with him, and on had such a close relationship. From what I understand, you met him in 2010. What did you know about Tim even before you met him? Did you know about his music?
Um, I mean, of course, I listened to um, a lot of his music, like like most people did, and I was really curious about like how this guy did his music in what kind of way and how his process were, just by listening to his music and the way he used organic instruments with electronic instruments, and that genre he was developing at the time was something that I was instantly interested in.
Right. What was if you can remember, what was the first song that you might have heard? I imagine in Sweden, maybe folks knew of Tim before the rest of the world, or am I wrong about that?
Um, for me, I think it was there was first there was a rumor about this Levels song that people were talking about. I don't know who mentioned it the first time, if it was someone at the Interscope or something, when I was living in Los Angeles. But it was that I think that was the first song that I heard that that I thought was melodically, especially, really something that's like, oh,
Mhm.
this is such a class melody, and you know,
Absolutely. I think, that's definitely the song that made me recognize Tim's, uh, genius and his ability with production.
mm,
Bromance was out there, but I didn't connect it a name with an artist yet. With the sound, it was just a song that I'd hear as I was traveling or wherever I was.
mm.
Um, did you end up, meeting Tim for the first time in a studio, or was it outside of a studio?
Um, I think the first time that me and Rami met him was when I think I was introduced to him by Ash and Johnny Tenander, who was working at the Sony ATV, or I think might have even have been EMI Publishing at the time. But he just said, you got to meet this guy, and I know you guys would do good things together. So he stopped by the studio, and it was one of those, instant love, when you instantly felt the connection to this guy. He was, he was as much of a sound geek that I was, and it was one of those where you just jumped in on something, and all of a sudden, we became friends, and both me and Rami just, you know, eh, loved him.
Yeah, did you guys, when you're in the studio working on stuff, one thing I didn't necessarily experience with Tim was him on any of the instruments. He didn't feel comfortable on the keys, so I brought in, my friend, Peter Dyer to help kind of we were working on some songs, and Peter was on the keys doing some things. That was with sessions with, Nile Rodgers, but from what I understand, like, he could actually play guitar, he could actually play keys.
Yeah, I mean, he was what he liked, I think, what he liked about our relation was that I could just provide him with with tools, like, or bring him an endless amount of chords or melodies, or let's play it on guitar, let's play it on piano, let's, he could just like throw out all the ideas he had in his head, and I could, we could try it out. And I think he liked that. And he even like, yeah, what about this? What if you play guitar like this? What if you play with the with the with a coin instead of a pick? Instead of a pick, what would
It's
that
for
sound
different
like?
texture. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I mean, I love that. That's kind of the way that I like to produce too, because 'cause I'm not the best on any of the instruments. So
Hmm.
someone like you, Carl, who has complete facility with these instruments and the chords and the melody, it makes it so much easier. And I can see the kind of relationship you would have had with Tim in the studio, because I know his energy with melody and wanting to grab something that he's hearing and put it down so quickly. You'd be right there to hear him kind of sing through it and play it.
Yeah, but it was also, I don't know if you had that experience as well, because, obviously you could do the same thing with vocals. Just, he I mean, he tried to sing so much, and both me and Rami was like,
Not
oh,
really. Yeah, yeah.
and but you still had to, you knew it was something in there that was gonna be really good after
Mhm.
after a while. He was such an intense person also. So he couldn't let things go. So even if I knew like this melody is not going to be the one, we still had to go through the whole 3 hours of tweaking it, trying it out. You had to go the whole way, the
Yeah,
whole
but
360.
for him, like that melody, even though you might have worked on it for so many hours and didn't use it there, it might show up somewhere else. And that for him was the process that that's gonna be frustrating, because it's not working for this song.
Yeah,
But I think as a songwriter, as a creator, he would just recognize, okay, this is gonna be valuable somewhere. I'm not gonna stop until I've got something, and then I'll just tuck it away.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was probably that part was probably his like obsession also, not necessarily just a good thing, but it could also be, when it was, when it was 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, you're like, Tim, let's
Yeah.
give up.
I think
It was impossible. It was
that's
impossible.
ultimately what happened with SOS. Like, I heard that, uh, from the producers that he was working with, that they just ended up mashing together 2 separate songs,
Hmm.
which I thought was really interesting. And that I think that's ultimately what happened with, the song that I did with him, oh, geez, it was another one of the songs that made it
Hmm.
on the, uh, True album. But parts that came in that I wasn't expecting, a whole other singer, and just interesting. An interesting combination of production, not just using instruments as production, but other vocalists and other lyrics as production.
Yeah.
What were if you can list like some of the songs and talk about the songs that you worked on with Tim?
Um, I think we started out. Let's see. There's been a lot of them. A lot of them that didn't that has
That
haven't
didn't
have never been.
I know exactly. Same with me,
Um,
but
but I mean, we did quite a few on the road trip that we did with him, and a lot of other writers and producers. We did Without You during doing that road trip, um, and also Sons of Jesus and Broken Arrows. I did with him, and Fades Away, Bad Reputation, Anything. Um, yeah, and then we did the whole Madonna album, me and Tim and Salim and Vincent and Rami. So there's been quite a few of those. We did this Santana collaboration during the World Cup for the World Cup anthem with Santana and Wycliffe, and so it's been in a lot of different forms, and that's been the fun part of it also. That there were no boundaries. There were songs, and some of them turned out to be Avicii songs, and some of them didn't. But it was still the passion for creating music that was those magical moments that I had with him. And I think being Avicii was just like, okay, but someone has to do the songs, so I'll do it. But as you know, his main, like what he loved was being in the studio. You know,
absolutely, that's exactly the sense that I got, that the the burden almost of being Avicii and having to share this music, was not necessarily the passion. And of course, getting out, being in front of people, getting that energy was rewarding. But even for me, the biggest reward is being in the studio. It's like Legos. You're just creating something out of nothing. And you're making magic happen. And then you get you get the reward and the gratification once the world is there pumping their fist or singing back the lyrics, and you feel it. But so
And also, I will say though that I think those also the moments of the songs you guys did and the songs we've done in the past is the magic is the combination of different people bringing different talent to the room. You know, I think Tim wouldn't been the same if it wasn't for him being able to and wanting to work with, you know, all of us bringing something else to the table. I could bring my way of playing guitar or my way of mixing vocals, and you can bring your, you know, your style of singing. And I totally get why he loved your melodies and vocals so much, because it's another layer that you can put on top of his layer, and it becomes something else. Same with him and Chris Martin. You know, it's the magic combination. Sometimes it's unbeatable.
I noticed you mentioned about the kind of combination of sounds that he liked to use, basically talking about kind of the folk and soul blue notes with kind of the Germanic folk Schlager. And can you talk about that combination?
Yeah, because it was a lot of times I was not forcing him, but you know, you bring ideas and he brings ideas, and then you end up in the middle, and you mash up your ideas to become something unique. But some of them is also how would I say, he was kind of limited in what he liked also. So it was some of those, if it wasn't simple enough, he didn't get it. But it had to be really simple at first, but then he would add his, you know, those notes that he likes, and his Avicii effects and booms and sweeps and kicks and sounds, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now it's mine.
Right.
You know, so it had to be, you had to provide him with something about that in the beginning, at least for me, that was so simple, so he got it. If he didn't get it, he would never love it because he wouldn't fit his Tim algorithm that he had in his head.
True.
So I don't know if it was the same for you, but we always had our process of working for me to show him the ideas or
chords. So, you know, in the connection that we had, it was always exploratory, except that one like magical night for Wake Me Up, which it wasn't exploratory at all. It was almost super direct. There was there wasn't a whole lot of going back and forth. In the second session for Wake Me Up, when we retracked the vocals, we had to perfect some of the ad-libs. And so that's what you see in the documentary, where we're choosing a better ad-lib than another, or a better run than another. But for the most part, it was very exploratory. And I didn't get into a situation where I was like battling with him over, you know, a melody or an idea. I don't think we had worked enough to get to feel comfortable at that point. I think for sure he was still kind of respecting me and like being, you know, being calm and cool, and I was respecting him and being calm and cool. But I imagine after you guys, for like having known each other for, you know, 5-6 years and still working, you could get in there and be like, nah, we should try something different. And he was like, no, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we had so many arguments, and it was also part of it, because, you know, because it was in the beginning, it was me and Rami and Tim most of the time. So me and Rami worked so much together, like every day for so many years. So we knew how to get, you know, how we would
get your way.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Because just, you know, we were looking at each other and like, all right, here we go. And he would move those notes a tiny bit, and it was 2 hours, and I was still moving it.
Right.
And
Are you
we were
talking
like,
about in Fruit FL Studio?
yeah.
Moving the notes? Yeah. Yeah.
But it had to be that way, and it was fine. But it was really frustrating because we would get in a lot of arguments, and because he was so stubborn also about
Mhm.
having it his way until proven wrong, if you know what I mean.
I get it. I get it.
So it was a lot of those, like, not fights but arguments, and it was sometimes it was like, okay, let's Tim, we're gonna go home now. You'll see you in 10 hours, and but
Right.
it's yeah.
So what have you what was the development of the Tim album like for you? I know that making those decisions without Tim there was really hard. Do you feel like s- you got it? You got it right.
It's so hard to even. I mean, I've been thinking about that so much as well, and especially during the process of making it and starting. Where do you start and where do you end? When do you call it? When do you say, like, okay, this is as good as it gets? But it was. I have no idea if I got it right. I just got it as good as I could possibly get it,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and I just don't base that on my own um, taste. I also based it on my friendship and working relation with Tim. Um, since it's been such a big part of my musical life as well. So I learned so much about what he liked and didn't like, and he learned the same thing from me. So I had a quite good understanding of his process, and I had a really good palette of sounds that we some of them we created together, and some of them he brought me in the opposite way. So first I started out, okay, we have these amazing songs. What do we do now? And who will be the right people to do it? And the answer there, I'm 100% confident about that. We did the right thing by bringing all of you guys in, the
Okay.
the people that was always going to be a part of this anyway, and do it as good as we could based on our friendship with him. And
Yeah. What I think you're right. I think in the end it was the collaborators he'd already been working with closely who would have known best how
yeah,
to complete the songs. I have a question about what you're up to now. Like, what are you doing? Not that you didn't have other things going on while Tim was here, but like, how do you write and record and release, and under what name and that kind of thing?
um, it's a couple of different.
You have
I,
bands or
yeah, actually, I have a band myself, and it's a kind of quite a funny story actually, because that band is a couple of other actors. It's me writing, producing, and playing most of the instruments, and then it's Russell Crowe, the Australian actor, who sings and do the lyrics, and it's Scott Grimes, another American actor, who's in the band as well, and Samantha Barks, another actress as well, and Alan Doyle, and we have, it's a fun.
do you
It's a
have a
fun.
name for the band?
It's called the Indoor Garden Party.
Okay. And have you
Um,
released any music?
yeah, we've done. Um I think it's about 5 records now, and the last one was actually #1 on iTunes in the UK and Amazon in the UK. And it's just a fun side project. But I introduced Russell to Tim because I thought, you
Where
know,
did that happen? Did that happen in Australia or somewhere
um,
else around the world?
no, it happened in Los Angeles, and
Okay.
I was there working with Tim, and I was there doing Russell's or our record at the same time, and I was like, you guys got to meet up. This will be a interesting collaboration of people. So I introduced Russell to Tim, and they spoke. And I think Tim even sent him a song, Unbreakable. It wasn't released. I think we had Bon Jovi on the vocals at that time, and Russell was going to re-record it, and even Tim invited us to Las Vegas to see one of his shows, and we were all sitting at Katana in Los Angeles, and like, okay, should we just go? Me and Russell and Russell's wife and a couple other people, and last minute Russell was just, no, fuck it, let's just stay home. And
so you didn't go?
No, we didn't go, but it was going to be a fun collaboration though. They never got a chance to meet, unfortunately, but
interesting. Okay, well, that's one for the history books.
Yeah, but apart from that, it's I write and produce under my own name,
Carl Falk.
Yeah, and yeah, I try to do as much different projects, different styles, different genres as possible, which is the fun part about doing what I do. I think
it's always the fun part about music, is being able to go in any direction that you want with no limitations. And that's ultimately what I think Tim lived for, was being untethered and just creating from his heart however he wanted. Thank you so much, Carl, for your time. Thanks for joining me in this tribute to Avicii, to Tim Bergling. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.